Hi there, my name is Andrew Adams from Parker Adams Boat Sales on a very, very cold and frosty morning here at Port Solent, and I'm joined by Dave Paxton. Morning, Dave.
Hello.
We're here today because we've got behind us my boat, which is a Targa 44, but we're going to work some magic on it. I say we, I'm being a bit lazy actually. Dave and his team are going to work some amazing magic on it. So just explain a little bit about what's happened to this boat over the years and what you're going to do to it today.
Okay, so blue hull, we all know that's a nightmare when it comes to polishing and oxidisation. We've done some test patches on this boat with multi-stage polishing and it wasn't quite enough to fix all the oxidisation.
Yeah.
So we are doing 4 stages of mechanical sanding to dig down into the through the oxidised gel coat to get to nice decent gel coat, and then we can polish it.
Yeah, it was quite interesting actually when we did the test patch. I keep saying we, I'm really taking credit for this. When Dave did the test patches, it was interesting because when we came that night, he'd done a square and actually it looked fantastic, but you'd put it under UV light and you could see that very likely the blooming through the blue was actually going to come back. And sure enough, within about a week or so, I came back to the boat and it had already just in a week started to go slightly milky again, which is the need for what seems very aggressive, but that's a total of what, 7-8 stages of from sanding right through to polishing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it needs the mechanical sanding to get through those really damaged parts of oxidised gel coat.
And can you do this with all boat brands? Are Fairlines particularly good in terms of the thickness of the gel, or is it pretty standard?
They're all quite standard.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of manufacturers will spray their gel coat, which can be thinner, but as I understand it, Sunseekers, Fairlines, Princesses all do a brushed lay-up at the manufacturing stage, so they are a bit thicker.
So you've got quite a bit to work with, so to speak.
Cool.
I'll just come back here and grab the camera, and I'll just have a little walk down the hull here. Now, suffice to say, this is actually this is the worst side. When this boat lived over in Guernsey before we bought her, the other side was against the pontoon and it had some polishing, but you can see this is the test patch that Dave did. You can see quite a defined line on there. But as for the rest of it, you can see this really deep blooming. I'm guessing would those be fender marks there, Dave, where you can see sort of the slightly longer streaks?
Yeah, it could be where fenders have rubbed, but it's mostly just UV damage is what we're looking at there.
Okay. And something that the owner of this boat, prior to me buying her, struggled was to just get reliable people to work on the boat. So unfortunately, the hull was one of those things that just hasn't been polished in quite a long time. You can see that condition-wise actually does get slightly better as you work towards the bow, because of course at the bow it's not completely flat on with the sun, which I guess makes a difference there. So yeah, as you can see, it really is very, very oxidised. There's a little bit of morning dew on the hull as well, which doesn't help, but you can see there where there's no moisture on the hull at all. That is just pure oxidisation there. So how long does this process take in total?
Well, we've got a team of 3 of us working for 3 days just on the blue.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and we'll be putting in long days. So,
and in terms of the white, so once the blue's done, what will you do with the top stones? The white doesn't need to be treated quite so aggressively, but what's your process that you go through for the white gel? The
white gel coat, they are pretty easy to deal with on these boats. Just cleaning and multi-stage polishing and it will look lovely. There's to be no sanding involved to restore the white. Okay, that's brilliant. Right, well, I better let the team crack on, but what we'll do is Dave's going to set up some GoPro videos that we can have a look through the process as he goes through it, and I will come back down. I'm being honest, I'm going to go into a warm office now, and I'm going to come back down and see the progress and update you guys with some videos. So thanks as always for watching.
Okay, so here we are, 3 days later. It's been 3 days, 3 people, a lot of man hours, some long nights under UV lights as well as daylight, from what I understand.
Yeah, we had our spotlights out.
Amazing. The results, well, I'll run through it with you in a second, but I think it's absolutely stunning. I've had people coming up to me. I think I've given your details to 3 people now since it's been completed. And yeah, the results were amazing. So talk me through how it went. What were your thoughts?
Well, we as we said on the video, we were going to do a few stages of machine sanding and then machine polishing, which we did, but in places it needed where we did 4 stages of machine sanding. Some places we needed to do 6. So it was a lot of work, but the results speak for themselves, and we really were happy with how it's turned out.
Dave has since admitted to me that when we recorded that first video, when we looked around the hull, your heart sunk a little bit because it seemed to be in slightly worse condition than you remembered it to be when we first looked at the boat. And you had a slight doubt in your mind whether you'd get the right result.
That's absolutely right. It didn't look good at all, and I was a bit nervous about whether or not we could actually achieve the results we have achieved. So,
Right, well, let me grab the camera and let's show you what results we have achieved. And you can see the shine that's come back to this boat is absolutely, well, it's phenomenal. I think that's the only word to describe this. As we walk around the whole boat, so I walk around with you, Dave, I'm not ignoring you, but I think I've taken about 100 photographs of this boat since it's been finished, just because it looks so amazing. Every time it's like an evening, I've taken photographs. It was a lovely sunset yesterday. You can see here the photograph. I'll just put an overlay of the hull absolutely gleaming in the sunshine. But it has come back to, well, basically, in my opinion, better than new.
Yeah, that's right. It does look like it's just rolled out of the factory, so that's what we were wanting to achieve, and we've achieved it. So really pleased.
It was. It's quite interesting actually talking to Dave about the process. I'll hold this here this time. The hulls that come out of the factory, they're good quality hulls from Fairline, but it was quite noticeable on this particular hull. Dave wondered whether perhaps they popped it out the hull. Popped it out the mould perhaps a little bit too soon, because it was ever so slightly ripply, but actually what you've seen is because of the sanding process, that's actually been taken out of it, and I think there's an even better finish to the hull now than it wasn't when it was factory. Yeah,
I mean, your surveyor said when you bought it that the hull looked quite orange peely. It's quite ripply down when you look down the side of it, and that could have been being pulled out the mould a bit too quickly, and some curing process was still left to do. But yeah, like you said, now we've done the sanding on it, which has ironed out some of those ripples.
Yeah, no, it's an absolutely amazing job, and so we had 3 people working on the boat. 3 people, 3 days, but the results are amazing. So we'll just go back through and just have another look again at just that shine that's been achieved on this hull. Now this boat isn't a med boat, which is interesting. So quite often you'd expect on med boats that you would see really bad oxidization on the hull, but it's not a med boat, but it still took an absolute battering. So it's really good to see that boats even like this can be brought back.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, well, I think I'll end it there. So thank you so much, Dave. There's going to be another part to this video as well. What you'll notice just underneath here, I've got IPS drives on this boat, and Dave is just about to get out the machine, and he's going to strip all of the old anti-fouling type product off there, and there's actually going to be a new product which is going to be applied. Thank you, Dave, for everything you've done on this boat. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm blown away by the results.